We are continuing to watch a line of storms moving into far western Kentucky that could eventually make it here. We continue our severe weather alert day coverage, and meteorologist Evan Hatter has more on what to expect. Evan.
Well, Steve, right now some of us are seeing a few showers, especially the closer you get to the West Virginia border. That's where we're running into a few showers right now, but that is not what we're keeping an eye on for later on tonight. Many of us, as actually a good thing, are continuing to see cloud cover around the region right now. I-75 at Mount Vernon, maybe a sun break, but the good news is plenty of clouds right now. It's not typically what you say, but in any case, we have to watch out for some of that sunshine, as you see on I-75 in London, because that can help destabilize the atmosphere for a little bit later on. It's already very warm in some spots, middle and upper 70s as you head into portions of West Virginia. In fact, Wayne, West Virginia was at 80 not long ago. Areas that have seen the rain down into the mid 60s, but we're already seeing some recovery in the temperatures into the Cumberland Valley into the low 70s right now. A few showers working through the Big Sandy. This is not a huge deal, but something to keep an eye on, and it's helping at least work over the atmosphere a touch. But you see what's going on out to the west. We continue to see strong to severe thunderstorms knocking on West Kentucky's door. In fact, parts of it looks like Fulton County out in far west Kentucky now taken in a tornado warning that is pushing on into the state. It's this big line of storms. It's going to continue to traverse the area as we head through the overnight hours for us. The greatest ingredients remain across West Kentucky, where they are in a level 4 out of 5 risk, a moderate risk for severe weather there, south and west of I-165. For everybody else, at least in our area, most of us are in the level 1 risk with some in the level 2. So scattered storms possible, best chance out west, but we're going to be falling into the low 60s with breezy conditions later on tonight. I've got the latest timing and impacts with those storms coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. The White House announced a new package of military weapons which will quickly be heading to Ukraine. CBS's Natalie Brand has more from the White House.
President Biden spoke to Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky as the administration details its latest defense assistance package for the war-torn country. The U.S. is sending new weapons, including artillery and armored personnel carriers, ahead of the anticipated Russian offensive on eastern Ukraine.
We tailored this list specifically to meet the needs that they have asked for with respect to what's going on in eastern Ukraine.
Russians are focusing their airstrikes on Mariupol and the Donbas region as they stage ground forces for a renewed push.
They are now in Belarus and or Russia, refitting, resupplying.
As the war nears its 50th day, the Pentagon says there are indications that Russian forces continue to have significant morale issues. President Biden, for the first time this week, called Russia's actions in Ukraine genocide, but also alluded to the international legal process that would make the formal determination. The Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe released a report finding evidence Russia committed war crimes in Ukraine, including directly targeting civilians and medical facilities, as well as rape, executions, looting, and forced deportations of civilians to Russia. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Included in the list of military aid the president authorized today is a supply of biological and chemical protective suits for the Ukrainian military. It's veto day in Frankfort. Lawmakers returned to the state capitol today for the final 2 days of the session. Legislators wasted no time overriding dozens of vetoes issued by Governor Beshear. Both chambers have already voted to override the veto on the transgender athlete bill and Senate Bill 1 that gives superintendents more power and directs how history should be taught. The House overrode vetoes on charter schools, the budget, tax modernization, including a reduction in the state income tax, and a bill that further restricts abortion. Those House bills still have to be voted on in the Senate. We hope to have a live report with the latest on what's going on in Frankfort coming up tonight at 6 o'clock. The Crown Act has not seen any movement in Frankfort for weeks now. The legislation would ban hair-based discrimination. It's meant to protect people with traditional hairstyles like braids, locks, and twists. A House committee approved the bill back on March 14th. It has not received a vote in the full House. Bluegrass Care Navigators held an event for National Healthcare Decisions Day, which is on Saturday at Hazard Coffee Company today. trying to bring awareness to the community about having important conversations with your family, letting them know your wishes and what is important to you before you are too sick to do so.
Lots of forms sitting over here that's super easy to go through. One you can go through with your doctor, and it actually goes down in details with what your wishes are. So we're just here to bring awareness and to celebrate National Healthcare Decisions Day.
Anyone that stopped by today was also treated to a free cup of coffee. We'll have more on this coming up at 5:30. Police have announced the arrest of a suspect in Tuesday's Brooklyn subway shooting. NYPD officers say they arrested Frank James in connection with Tuesday's shooting, in which 10 people were shot and 29 were treated for injuries. Investigators say James has a long list of arrests in New York and New Jersey.
His arrest history in New York is 9 prior arrests dating from 1992 to 1998. Those include possession of burglary tools 4 times, criminal sex act, theft of service 2 times.
The NYPD commissioner posted a quick video riding the subway with other top NYPD brass on their way to a recent graduation, saying the new officers will be in neighborhoods and the trains in just a few days. Nobody died in the shooting yesterday, and the 10 people shot are all expected to recover. A new battery plant is bringing thousands of jobs to Kentucky. Chelsea Jones tells us more about the investment announced today by Governor Andy Beshear.
Governor Andy Beshear says this $2 billion investment could help solidify Kentucky's economic future. Today, he announced Envision AESC will build an electric vehicle battery plant in Bowling Green, creating 2,000 jobs. It's the second largest automotive investment in Kentucky, following the Ford battery plant in Hardin County.
Their production combined makes us the undisputed electric vehicle battery production capital of the United States of America.
The Envision AESC plant in Bowling Green will span 512 acres. It'll produce high-powered batteries that will reduce the time it takes for electric vehicles to charge. Envision AESC has partnered with the Tennessee Valley Authority, also known as TVA, to make the plant fully operational on renewable energy. The plant will feature jobs in manufacturing and office support. Envision AESC leaders say they chose Bowling Green after doing a multi-state search.
Bowling Green really stood out in terms of workforce availability, the site itself in terms of infrastructure, but mainly the fit with the community also was very strong. So those were some of the key reasons that we chose Bowling Green.
Project leaders say they have already developed the layout of the plant. They hope to break ground this summer. In Frankfort, Chelsea Jones, WKYT.
The plant is expected to be operational in 2025. COVID-19's global grip appears to be slipping. According to the WHO, last week saw a 24% drop in new cases. Officials add that deaths related to the virus fell 18% during that same time frame. Decreases were reported in all 6 of the WHO's regions, with the European and Western Pacific regions seeing the biggest declines. As of April 10th, more than 496 million cases were confirmed worldwide, more than 6 million of which turned out to be deadly. Stateside, a new poll finds the vast majority of Americans believe COVID is no longer a crisis. The Axios Ipsos Coronavirus Index found less than 10% of Americans currently describe it as a crisis. About 3 in 4 called it a manageable problem, and 1 in 6 said it's not even a problem. Axios says the stats increase major challenges for public health officials in managing possible new surges. Coming up on First at 4, all of our cars contain a precious metal and thieves are after it. The rise in catalytic converter thefts and how you can protect your vehicle.
And damaging winds, heavy rain, and isolated tornadoes are all possible as storms move in later tonight. I'll have the details coming up next.